I think I was more encouraged by the press that came out around the conference than the message from within the conference. It appeared to me that, well, first of all, the conference itself was not at all the format that I hoped it would be. And I started the negotiations on a special conference a month ago. And I had the letter with the signatures on it within a few days of the beginning of those negotiations in my pocket. I didn't hand it over to the chair, Cathy McMorris Rodgers, until at least a week of discussions about a special conference. And I said, I want this to happen without having to force the conference. And so I worked it as long as I could, seeing if we could get it negotiated. And then when it became clear that she wasn't going to hold a special conference without the demand, then I handed her the letter and said, okay, then we have to do it this way. Shortly after that, leadership put out a message that they were going to do a conference on July 10th. But they said that the letter I had presented with all the signatures on it didn't have anything to do with that. Yet, Chair McMorris Rodgers told me the night before the conference, so it's the night of July 9th, that this conference was a result of that request. So I take her at her word, and I made the point that when members call for a special conference, protocol would require that they frame the conference, that they set the message and frame the conference. Well, the protocol that we got was 2-hour conference. It might have only been one, so I give them credit for a relatively long period of time given the schedules that we have in this town. Yet, it was a full 60 minutes before any rank and file member had an opportunity to speak, because it was the list of each of our leadership that went through first, the committee chairs, subcommittee chair. Once they went through the list of all of them, they had framed the discussion and within the legislation that they decided they were going to push. So out of that conference, I waited for 1 hour and 50 minutes before I got 90 seconds to talk. And when I finished that, I went outside and talked to the media, and I had a lot better forum out among the media than I did within my own colleagues. My own colleagues still have not heard what I have to say, and that's true for most of us. Each other haven't heard what each other has to say because we spent half our time listening to leadership who had already had their presentations.
Now that the leadership has assured you that the Hastert rule would apply to anything coming out of conference committee, are you still concerned that the Trojan horse of amnesty could make it through this House?
Oh yes, I'm concerned. It is clear that John Boehner has said that there will be no conference report come back that violates the Hastert rule, that doesn't have the majority of the Republican conference, the majority of the majority. And I do take him at his word. And neither will a bill come to the floor that violates the Hastert rule. There's not a stated condition for allowing an amendment that might turn this into amnesty. Although I think the full bracket of the intent is whatever comes through on immigration will have the support of the majority of the majority. Now, that doesn't give me complete comfort. It's progress, and it's significant progress considering where we were a month ago with this. But I'm still worried that if we send something over, say we send something over to the Senate, and it might be an E-Verify bill, a guest worker bill, it could be a DREAM Act bill. Well, a DREAM Act bill is amnesty, plain and simple, it is. And so they could attach something on the Senate side, send it back, build the political pressure, and then if our speaker says, well, the political pressure is so great that we have to take this up or we're going to lose seats, for example, in the upcoming election. That's how we could get to a scenario that we end up with amnesty sent to the president. I'm worried about it. I think we have to understand this. This House should pass, really there's no reason for us to pass anything. I ask the people that are advocating the 4 bills that came out of the Judiciary Committee and the Border Security that came out of the Homeland Security Committee, paint for me a scenario by which any of this legislation can pass the House, be messaged to the Senate, be taken up, pass the Senate, and get to the president's desk. Well, that seems to be the stumper question. So the only way anything good can get to the president's desk is if amnesty is attached. That scenario I can paint for you. Why are we going through this exercise if amnesty is not going to get to the president's desk? Because he's not going to sign anything that doesn't have it.